been a really hard fought week here on BMP Carp Fisheries down in Perigny and Rose. Unfortunately, when we arrived, the owner said that the lake's been flooded due to a dam being opened up on the Seine to protect Paris. I don't know if you can see, but where I'm currently now is actually meant to be a swim, so the water's about 7 foot higher than it should be. But we've persevered anyway. A couple of the boys have been washed out their swims, but I managed to get this one on the Ronnie rig, tied up with crack and tackle on a nice pink pop-up. This one weighed in at 32.4 £. Dan's had one at just under £31, and Luke's caught another one at £18. So really pleased so far with today. Hopefully we can nick another one. I'm just going to put this one back and show you how I tied my rig. Just thought I'd talk to you guys a little bit about the rig that I was using earlier to catch the fish. I'm using the Ronnie rig. Everyone seems to be using it at the minute, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like to start off by tying the end of the rig that actually goes onto my heli setup rather than tying the business end of the rig first. Reason being is sometimes if you pull in a knot tight, it can slit, your hand can pull into the hook, and if you're using barbed hooks, obviously that's pretty bad news. So I like to take off about 12 inches of the 20-pound chod filament, the armoured chod filament that the Crack and Tackle do by Hobo Armour. And I like to tie that straight onto just a standard 360 swivel. I just use a 2-turn blood knot. Some people like to crimp it. I prefer to tie a knot on it. I find that actually when you're putting the putty onto the rig, it will hold a lot better. I like to get that nice and wet as well so it doesn't slip. The next bit I do is start to prepare the hook end. For my rig, I was actually using a size 6. I know a lot of people come over to France and like to use a size 4 or a size 2 for the big fish, but not knowing the lake very well, we don't know how riggy the fish are going to be, so I'm using a slightly smaller hook than what I'd really like to use. What I do next is I take a 360 quick chain swivel, which Hobo Armour do. I like to get my scissors in there and just open up the quick change section of the swivel slightly. Makes it a lot easier to get your hook onto. Next, I just put the swivel through the back of the eye and clip it on. Best thing to do now, once you've got that on there, is just to give it a little tighten to prevent the hook from slipping. I know we're going to put some a kicker over it in a minute, but it's just nice just to have everything nice and tight. Next thing we do is we take one of the L kickers, slide this down over the hook. I like to try and wet the inside a little bit as well, just to give it that extra bit of lubrication to slide it on. Sometimes you might have to clip a little bit off the end just to push the last bit through. Here we go. Now if you push that down over the eye of the hook and over the swivel just to prevent it from coming off, that'll be just fine. Next thing we do is we take one of the micro swivels and slip that over the hook. Be really careful, hooks are super sharp. Get a hook bead, slide the hook bead on. That is the business end of the rig tied. Next thing, I'm going to tie this onto the chod filament. This is the point at which you can choose how long you'd like to have your boom section. I like to keep mine to about between 4 and 6 inches depending on where I'm fishing. I don't want it too long, I just find it's more likely to get tangled. Again, just a 2-turn blood knot is absolutely fine, nice and tight. Next thing I do, start to trim down all my tag ends. Obviously this is going to need a little bit of steam in a minute to keep it nice and straight, but now I've got that little knot there, it makes it much easier for the putty to attach to it. And there we go. That is how I tie my Ronnie rig.